I think with that as a background, and people, it's really important to understand this process and how skilled Vince is and experienced and at the forefront caring about his members and his friends and his people. That because he knows that, then he has this unbelievable ability to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And this when you see it at first, you're like, whoa! Like I remember talking to him. There's just amazing stories that were great. And when Vince was in his basement, there was everybody who's still a member of the gym from that time, which is 6, 7, 8 years ago, still talks about it. Like that was a different Vince, but still pretty good. But anyways, I was always like, man, Vince, people pay you for this. These people pay good money for you to coach them, and all you do is you yell at them, you tell them you can't work out, you're not allowed to come in. If you're 1 minute late, I'm locking the door and I'm not letting you in. You can come back tomorrow. You call me later. We'll talk about it. Well, and watching people knock on the door, be like, hey, I'm here. He's like, hey, I see you, but you're late, so we'll see you tomorrow. I'm just like, man, like this is crazy.
But it's funny you say that, Tony. That and I hear that word a lot. I hear the word. Well, he yells.
Right. Yes.
Right. I don't understand how people take the word yelling for accountability.
Right.
Right. Or intensity for accountability. And I think that's what fears people most. It goes back to they know something's going on inside of them, and they either want to face it, but like a cat, they got their claws out and they don't want to hit the screen door.
Right.
Or some people will just say, no, I'm not going to face it now. I'm done. I'm not doing this. Okay. I think you see that in every aspect. You see it in PT. They're supposed to finish out. It hurt, right? They got to go through. Yeah. They got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and they don't like to do it. Yeah. We see it in relationships. That's why our divorce rate is what it is today.
Yeah.
Right? People aren't willing to fight that fight to be better.
Right.
And that's again where relationship comes in. And I'll stand on the forefront of that. And there's a lot of people. I will always say something and do something to get a reaction from people. I don't just say it to do it. Sometimes I don't say anything, and people will judge that. Well, I'm not going to take this. He doesn't even talk to me. Well, there's a reason. Come find out, right? Yep. It's part of this work has to be done by you, not just me. So I'm going to say and do things to people, even the PTs.
Yeah.
I'm going to do and say some things because I want to see where they're at. I want to get a reaction. Sometimes they say it's not my place. Well, here's the deal. Last time I checked, it is my place.
Yeah.
Right?
All in it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's always to make the end product, the total product, the best it can be.
Yeah. I think it's that's the key thing, I think, is the accountability side of this idea of performance and improving someone's lifestyle, improving someone's life period, whether it be in the rehab process or in the fitness process, strength conditioning, performance enhancement. It's, are you really committed to what it is you said you wanted to do? Whether we've got a guy who wants to play in the NFL, whether we got a kid that wants to play in college, whether we got someone who wants to lose 10 pounds, whether we got somebody who said, hey, my leg doesn't straighten out and I want to get it all the way straight again. And then, it's like, well, do you? How hard are you willing to work for that? And here's the things we have to do. And I think that what I loved and still love every day is like the accountability that you bring to the situation and bring to the equation. Like, let's get that. Let's make sure that you see it through. Mm-hmm. And it's not always like, hey, I'm going to support you along the way and I'm going to make it easy for you. There's significant amounts of times we actually make it much harder for them intentionally. Mm-hmm. So they have to really overcome something to get to the next step. And I think it's great it's cool to see and watch from my perspective, because it's not something I've seen a lot of.
And it's a term in the strength world, we call it progressive overload, right? To get somebody stronger.
Right.
In my world, I call it human overload. I'm going to give them a little bit more, and I'm going to come at them a little bit harder to make them grow. And I'll explain it to them after the fact. I never leave somebody without an explanation.
Right.
Okay, if I get after you or I touch a nerve, and I'm going to do that, I already know I'm going to do that, then I'm going to let it marinate a little bit. I'm going to let it hurt a little bit. I'm going to let whatever emotions have to happen. If you want to yell at me, go ahead and do that. Now, you may get thrown out, but that's okay. We'll come back later and we'll discuss that. But as long as I go back and say, look, do you understand why I did this? Okay. Maybe my tactic, that one didn't work for you. When you go to a doctor, does every prescription that he gives you right off the bat, does that work for you? No.
Right.
It's the same thing here. And we take it to that level. I think you have to, in order to get people to grow, you have to. People don't come here to understand why their squad is so important. They come here for the relationship. They come here for the community and the family. And that's what this place is. It truly is a family. And sometimes, you've heard me say it, I love every person that comes in here, but sometimes love is tough. And that's how I administer it.
Because you really want to see them improve, for sure.
And that's all it's about. So that
Yeah.
they're not going to see it today, tomorrow, maybe a year from now, they'll reflect back and go, now I get it.
Yeah, I think we see that a lot.
We do see it a lot.
I think it's pretty tremendous, and you even see it like in the membership. Like Vince doesn't have a minimum to membership. There's no minimum months or anything. It's like just month to month because it's really your choice as a member to better yourself and do it, and he's helping you along the way. As a matter of fact, if you do cancel, he might challenge you and call you and be like, "Hey, come in and talk. Let's figure this out. Why did you do that?"
Yeah.
And if you continue, he might challenge you and be like, "Why are you still coming?"
Yeah.
And let's get clear about what we're trying to accomplish here. So I think it's really always comes down to that relationship for you.
Yeah, and it's knowing the person. Because sometimes people will walk out, and it's nothing that you did. It's something that they're going through. But the first thing I see a lot of gyms do is, well, okay, they're gone or whatever. That's not okay. What's okay is go find out why. And I'll give you an example. I had a lady one time, she just disappeared. And in the gym for a while, people were thinking like, well, what happened? Did something said? Or because I would challenge her. And I got a call after about 11 months, and she wanted to come back. And she said to me, Vince, I know I owe you money. She said specifically about $1,500. I said, well, why don't you come on in and we'll talk about it. So she came back in and she sat down, and I pulled up her account and I said, I said, you got a zero balance. She said, Vince, that can't be. She said, I walked out of here. I said, stop for a second. You walked out of here 10 months ago. I said, 11 to be exact. I said, now, you woke up in your bed, you were hemorrhaging, and you found out you had cancer, am I right? And she went, how did you know? I said, because I care. I said, now, wouldn't $1,500 help you pay some of your medical bills? She just broke down in tears. Again, here we go. I keep tissues on the desk all the time. And so I loved her to death, right? And so she said to me, I can't come back here unless I pay you. I said, okay. I said, humor me. How much can you afford a month? She said, honestly, I said, no, lie to me. And she said to me,
It's not the right person to lie to.
Right. But she says to me, she goes, honestly, Vince, probably about $50 a month. I said, I'll tell you what, 25 and you got a deal. So we settled on $25. And recently I just wrote her a check back for $302 because I said I had to refund her for whatever reason. And so again, if you put a price tag on something, then it's false. There's no authenticity to it. And you have to know people. You have to know their lives. You have to know what's going on, because that's a relationship you'll have forever. And one thing I learned in business is that if you appreciate somebody and you make them feel important, you care, and they get results, you'll have somebody for life.
Yeah, tremendous success.
Yeah.
And then something you're proud of at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you said, more than the bank account. But
well, there's a lot of times, Tone, I've gone to bed at night knowing that I've had dealings during the day and I can't sleep because it's like, could I have handled it differently? Should I have said something differently? Was what I said, will it be insightful enough that they'll come back and we'll have a better conversation? So it's not like I just say things and it doesn't bother me. I may show you my poker face, but a lot of times it eats at me.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the nature of my business anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm okay doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that we all do that to some degree.
Well,
have
I
that
hope so.
reflection, but I know you do it tremendously.
Yeah.